Sheikh Hasina's resignation from the post of Prime Minister brings Awami League's fourth consecutive term in Bangladesh to an abrupt end. Hasina had won the fourth term in a controversial vote in January of 2024. Hasina's ouster and the Awami League's ejection from power is not that abrupt when one considers widespread opposition to what has been termed autocratic and anti-democratic rule by Sheikh Hasina. But she is a leader who is a friend of India, who has been a partner for India. So how will and what will a Bangladesh without the Awami League, without Sheikh Hasina look like for India? Hello and welcome. I'm Geeta Mohan and you're watching Statecraft. Now, with the dissolution of the parliament in Bangladesh waiting for an interim government and new elections, the country enters a period of political instability. Alongside Bangladesh, President Muhammad has announced the release of Begum Khaleda Zia, the leader of the opposition Bangladesh Nationalist Party, from house arrest. Her son, Tariq Rahman, who faces corruption cases in Bangladesh, has resided in the UK since the year 2008. BNP is considered less secular than the Awami League and has historically allied with the conservative Jamaat-e-Islami, the largest Islamist party in Bangladesh. The Jamaat was banned from national elections in 2013 but was politically active. It was, however, banned by the Hasina government last week. In such a domestic political context, the departure of Awami League and India's historical ally Sheikh Hasina from Bangladesh has wider ramifications for South Asian politics in general and India in particular. Hasina's special relationship with India and its leaders is an established fact, which has translated into tangible support for India, especially in context of the separatism in the country's northeast, which had historically received military support from the ISI. Hasina's position was an extension of the stance taken by her father and Bangladesh Prime Minister from 1972 to 1975, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who also is known as the father of the nation in Bangladesh, and who accorded significance to cordial relations with India. The Awami League's crackdown on the Indian insurgent groups such as Ulfa's camps in Bangladesh and arrest of important leaders ultimately pushed them towards peace talks, which culminated in the Ulfa Peace Accord in 2023. Awami League's action on NSCN camps, the Naga separatist group, is another case in point. On the other hand, it is the BNP which is known to be pro-Pakistan. Its leader, Khaleda Zia's son Tariq Rahman, who is the acting chief of BNP at the moment, is known to have links with the ISI, that's the Intelligence Services Agency in Pakistan. So much so that reports suggest that the regime change in Bangladesh owes its stirrings to support from Pakistan and China. Bangladeshi officials have claimed that they have evidence of meetings between Tariq Rahman and ISI officials in Saudi Arabia.
Well, for India, a peaceful, stable and prosperous Bangladesh, and I may also add a Bangladesh with a government that is not inimical to India's core interests, is very important, considering the fact that Bangladesh is not only a close neighbor, but also is a country with whom we share our longest land border in the most strategically critical part of our country. It connects with not only Bengal, but the northeastern part of India. And from that perspective, when the relationship is good, there are a lot of, gains and mutuality of benefit. But when the relationship is not at the best, Bangladesh can be, a very troublesome neighbor. And we have seen in the past that there has been support for insurgent groups in India. There has been support for terrorism. Radical and fundamentalist ideas have come across the border. And it has also contributed to instability in our northeast. That is something that we cannot afford to see repeated.
Intelligence reports also indicate that the ISI-backed Islami Chauthra Shibir, the student wing to Jamaat-e-Islami Bangladesh, inflamed and transformed the protests into a political movement which ultimately led to Hasina's resignation. The ICS also operates in close coordination with Harkat-ul-Jihad-e-Islami, that is Huji, an ISI-backed Pakistan-based terrorist group with an affiliate in Bangladesh. The network of linkages between ISI, BNP and Jamaat-e-Islami indeed runs deep, which is a very serious issue for India and the security concerns India has with regards to changing dynamics within Bangladesh. Now let us look at China's position in more detail. Intelligence reports highlight funding support to Jamaat-e-Islami from Chinese entities operating in Pakistan. In her tightrope balancing between India and China, Sheikh Hasina had tried to maintain good relations with China as well, as seen from establishment of strategic partnership of cooperation in 2016, as well as Bangladesh being the first country in South Asia to join China's Belt and Road Initiative. Increased Chinese involvement in Bangladesh's infrastructure sector can be seen from important projects including the Padma Bridge, the Paira Power Plant, and various road and railway projects. China has also given loans to Bangladesh to bolster its faltering economy. Undoubtedly, this gives China an opportunity to have more influence in Bangladesh's domestic politics. China has also been a close ally of the BNP. More importantly for India, this has helped Beijing secure a foothold in a strategically significant location between Myanmar and India and provided opportunities for an expanded Chinese geopolitical influence. This definitely is not good news for India. There's another angle to this. Hasina's proximity to India and the fact that Bangladesh joined the Colombo Security Conclave and India initiated security alliance to counterbalance China's influence in the Indian Ocean region cannot have gone unnoticed by China. Sheikh Hasina's bilateral visit to China in July this year was also not very successful. It is therefore not surprising that China would want a regime change in Bangladesh. The Western world, including the EU and the US, has been largely critical of Sheikh Hasina's rule, deeming it anti-democratic.
Well, democracy needs a fair election, transparent election, which we didn't have. And it needs freedom of speech. It needs rule of law. It needs security of individual citizen in the country. So those things do not exist. So this is the problem, and also independence of judiciary, as we see in Bangladesh, absence of it, and also see lots of corruption. Like even if you look at the former chief of army is involved in huge amount of corruption. Former chief of police, very ugly way of corruption that he has indulged in. It's all it's in the press, but we don't see much caution is taken on corruption in the civil service, corruption everywhere. So it's not a very convenient place for flourishing democracy.
While the rhetoric of support for democracy is the official international position, this comes at great costs for India and its security concerns. Sheikh Hasina is currently in Delhi. While India has tried to be as hospitable as possible, both Hasina and India know that she cannot remain in the country for long. Her chances of finding asylum in the UK also look bleak, keeping in mind the new Labour government's position on the Bangladesh protests. It is to be expected that both sides will try together to find a temporary safe haven for Hasina.
I spoke to her yesterday. My phone has been ringing off the hook, so I have not had a chance to call her since then. But she's in good spirits, but she's very, very disappointed. She's very disheartened that after all that she has done for the country, that this vocal minority moved against her and wanted her out. She has turned the country from a poor country, failing country, corrupt country into a success story, a rising Asian tiger. She has contained militants. She has improved the lives of people. And we've all worked very hard to bring that about. And so she's very disheartened. And she told me that we are done with politics. This was going to be her last term anyway. She's 77 and she's retired.
So what does she intend to do now? Where does she intend to go? There were reports that she wanted to go to the UK. There are reports the UK isn't at this moment willing to have her. So does she intend to stay on in India? Does she intend to go to the UAE, Europe?
Those reports are incorrect. She has not applied anywhere. She has not asked any country. She has not made any decision on where she will stay.
What do you think is the best place for her to be now that she's no longer in Bangladesh?
I mean, that is up to her to decide. I really don't have an opinion on that. She can come visit her grandchildren in the various parts of the world because our entire family has been settled abroad for many decades now. So
there are reports in the United States that her US visa has been revoked. Is that correct?
No, I have not heard anything like that. That is a rumor.
However, it would be premature to assume that the Awami League has lost power for good, since the party still enjoys considerable public support in Bangladesh. The chances for a comeback when fresh elections are held in Bangladesh are considerable. But the same, however, cannot be said for Sheikh Hasina. Thank you for watching India Today Global. Stay tuned to the channel for all the latest news and developments on Bangladesh.